Hey everyone, it's Bethy. I'm back from the hospital. I went in Friday, May 3rd, and I was discharged Wednesday, May 8th, so I was in there for 5 days. I feel, let it autofocus. I feel so much better. I'm glad I finally went in. So this video is going to be about my stay at the hospital. Sorry, I'm on a new medication, so my water bottle's about to explode. So I'm very thirsty. Oh, there goes my water bottle. I freeze my water bottles in the freezer, so they like to, when the ice melts, it likes to expand out of the water bottle. Anyway, so I apologize for drinking so much. I'm just really thirsty. So, you last heard from me Friday. I got ready. I went to the hospital. The whole time I was on the way to the hospital, I kept saying, turn around, I want to go home, I want to go home. I was really scared because I am very dependent on my husband, and he's very dependent on me. We are more like one person. We have severe separation anxiety when we're away from each other. We get along so good. We can spend 24/7 with each other, and we don't get on each other's nerves. We just kind of like crave each other. We have such a special relationship. And I was really worried what me being away would do with him being here all alone, and I was worried about me being away from him being all alone. So that's where I was hesitant, and I showed up Friday night. And as I was doing my intake evaluation for them to see if I qualified to be locked up, when I say locked up, I mean in a locked up facility where you're locked up in a unit and you can't get out. You can't just get up and walk out like you could a regular hospital. That's for those of you who don't know what a mental hospital is like. You go into these units and they've got about, I would say, 10 rooms, 2 people to a room. You have a roommate, and then the doors are all locked up, the windows are locked, the mirrors in the bathroom are like metal instead of glass, so you can't break it and hurt yourself. It's like baby proofed, you know, so you can't go in there wearing anything with strings. You know, they take away your cell phone, your money. You don't get anything but the clothes on your back, shoes on your feet, and if you wear tennis shoes, they take out the laces and you have to wear rubber bands around your feet. I wore my flip-flops, so I was fine. And the only time you get to go off unit is if you're off suicide watch, and then you can go to the cafeteria, but you are escorted with the techs, and believe me, the whole facility is on lockdown. If someone tries to escape, they won't let anyone in or out, and you're literally in a locked unit, okay, so you've got the main office that's all locked up. You have to go through locked doors to get to the outside area, and that's how you can get to the different units, but it's all locked up. There's pretty much no way you can escape, because you'd have to go through, like, you know, 10 or 20 locked doors just to even get on the outside. It's crazy. So anyway, that's a little bit about what a hospital's like. Once you are in your unit, you are allowed to roam around within the unit. They have what's called a day room, and that's where they hold group therapy sessions, and on free time they have a TV in there, you can watch TV. They have a locked patio, and sometimes our groups or activities, we can go out on the patio. And during family visiting hours are for 2 hours every day. It was from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's awesome getting visitors in the hospital, because it almost makes you feel like you're on the outside world again, because people you see on the outside world are in there with you, and it's very comforting, because it can be very scary. A lot of people are in there for different reasons. Most of them are in there because they either attempted suicide, or they want to commit suicide, or they want to hurt someone else, or they're detoxing from drugs and alcohol. And that's pretty much Your insurance, that's why they do the intake assessment I was talking about earlier, because they need to see if you need to be in a restricted environment like that. If you're not suicidal, if excuse me, if you're not if you can't stay safe on the outside, that's when you need to be locked up. If you can stay safe, what they'll do is they'll turn you away and they'll refer you to an outpatient program where you go during the day, but you're not in a locked up facility, and then you come home at night, and that's called intensive outpatient. Sometimes they're in just a regular office building, the outpatient services, and sometimes they're actually in the hospital. It depends on your circumstances, but they saw that I definitely needed to be locked up. I went in, they wrote on my paper that the reason for admission was for paranoid psychosis. Psychosis is when you're hearing and seeing things, and for me, I hear people and see people, and the voices in my head before I went in were so loud. They were telling me, just down your bottle of Valium, just down the whole bottle, you'll feel better. Even though logically we all know that no, that can make you very sick, and it could possibly even kill you, or it can give you permanent brain damage. So I had to just basically run out of the house, escape from the house, just to get away from the Valium, because I was so afraid I was going to take it and just, you know, whatever happens, happens. So I did not feel safe. So, and that's why they admitted me in the hospital. They always give you a diagnosis in the hospital. Obviously mine was bipolar, because even though I have several different mental illnesses, bipolar is the most prominent. And let's see, so Friday night, you have to go into what's called the recliner room, which is like their version of a triage or an emergency room. And basically you sit around in these recliners, and you're watched by the techs and the guards and the nurses, and they hold you there until they have a room available on one of the units. They have different type of units, different levels of units. They have like, whoa, that was weird. Oh, that light is bugging me. They have it looks like it's turning blue every time I look back at the camera. It's weird, but when I look up at the screen, it looks normal. So I was in the most intensive unit. That's where they have more people watching you. I was on suicide watch until Sunday, I believe. And then I had cafeteria privileges, and I was able to go off units to do crafts, which was really fun, and dog therapy, but I'll get to that. So Friday night, I kind of had a breakdown. I was only in the recliner room for 1 hour, which is amazing, because the last time I was in the recliner room, I was in there for 36 hours before I even got to a unit. You cannot even begin your treatment until you are in a unit, okay? So think how long that you're sitting there for 36 hours not getting treated, and you're suicidal, and you want to hurt people, and people want to hurt you, and it's just a room full of crazy people, and it's just not fun. It is terrifying. And once you get on the unit, you feel a little more safe. So I got on the unit, and I filled out some paperwork, and then I was waiting for my nurse to come talk to me, and it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I started to freak out, because I realized soon I was going to be going to bed, and I wasn't going to bed in my own bed with my husband and my cats. I was going to be going into a different bed, and I didn't know anybody there, and I started hitting myself in the head and screaming and crying, and I just kind of went crazy. And so they had to come over and calm me down and tell me to breathe, and I kept telling them, just let me go home, I promise I won't hurt myself. I was just saying anything I could possibly say to get out of there, although they could tell by the way I was acting I needed to be there. So, you know, they said, well, maybe tomorrow they'll let you go home, you just need a good night's rest. They were just trying to calm me down. So, needless to say, it was a very rough first night. The second day I saw, which was Saturday, I saw the on-call doctor. I didn't get to see my main psychiatrist because she only works during the week, so I saw their on-call doctor that they bring in on the weekends, and I specifically told him that I need to be on a cheap medication. I do not have very much money. The money that my husband and I make, we are very good with it. We are able to make our bills, but you know, we don't have much left over, and I need a medication that's fairly cheap I'm talking like $4 cheap, because I can't afford those really expensive drugs. So he said, oh, no problem. This one that I'm going to put you on is generic and it won't break the bank, so you're all good to go. Well, he pretty much started me off on the max dose. I am not really sure why. Well, the max dose is 140 milligrams. He started me off on 120 instead of 30, which is the starting dose. And then you go up to 60, and then you gradually, well, he started me off full blown. They can do that in the hospital, because if anything happens, you're in a hospital and they can help you. That's pretty much why they do it. They're just trying to get right to the point. But I've never been started on quite a dose that high without tapering up. So that it kind of hit me pretty hard. So Saturday, they gave it to me during the afternoon after I saw the doctor, and boy, did it make me very, very loopy, and I felt drunk, I felt high, I was very incoherent. I could not carry on a conversation, I could not walk. And my husband came to visit me, and he said I looked half dead when he saw me. I kind of was I was really out of it. I was just like a zombie pretty much. And when I saw him, I wanted to go home with him, and I knew I couldn't, and I freaked out again, and I had another episode where I was screaming and crying and hitting myself and just saying, no, I need to go, I need to get out of here. And again, the doctors and nurses were like, no, you need to just calm down. Everything's going to be okay. We can't let you go. And then I woke up Sunday morning, and I felt better than I have felt in such a long time. I slept better that night than I have slept in so long. It was probably because I was so heavily sedated that I was able to sleep so good. But the medicine, because it was such a high dose, it did kick in very quickly. And then every day it got better and better. And on my last day, Wednesday, actually I wanted to go home Monday because I felt so good. Come Sunday night, even my nurse said, you know, I think you might be able to get discharged tomorrow, but that's awfully soon. But I was doing so good. So I kind of had my hopes up. Excuse me. And so I talked to my doctor when she came to see me. They see you every day. You see your case manager every day, and you see your psychiatrist every day. And then there's nurses and techs on the units to help you 24/7. So your case manager is somebody that helps you with resources on the outside. So once you're discharged from the hospital, they help you get set up with therapy and any kind of help that you need. People go in there, they don't have a home, you know, they don't have anywhere to go when they get out. They help you with that. And they're awesome. I had an awesome team. And the medication was working great, but unfortunately she said, no, I'm not going to be willing to discharge you till at least Wednesday at the soonest. But come Wednesday, I was doing so good. All my nurses and techs told the doctor, hey, I think she's good to go. I filled out a safety plan, which is you have to write down what triggers you, what your triggers are, what upsets you, and how you can keep yourself safe while you're having episodes, and who is your support system. You have to fill all that information out, and then you have to sign a contract of safety that you will ask for help if you need it, instead of just acting out and like trying to hurt yourself or hurt someone else out. So I did all that, and come Wednesday was an amazing day. One, because it was discharge day, and two, we had dog therapy, which was so fun. I got to go outside. It was still locked up outside area, but I got to go outside in the sunshine, in the grass, and play with these service dogs, and they were so amazing. They knew all these commands, and it was really fun. And it was funny. We're all sitting around in a circle of chairs playing with the dogs, and all of a sudden all the sprinklers go off, and we just jumped up and went flying. It was absolutely hilarious. That was definitely the best memory I have of that hospital. So my husband comes and picks me up. I'm absolutely thrilled. We leave. We go home, you know, get me settled in. I'm better. I'm doing great. We go to the pharmacy to fill my prescriptions that they sent me home with. Not the actual pills, they sent me home with the prescriptions to get the medication filled. And I go to fill this new medication that they put me on, and for only 2 weeks, not even a whole month, she only wrote me a prescription for 14 days. And for 14 days, the prescriptions were $90, meaning they're $180 a month. And I said, oh, really? That's a $4 prescription? That's supposed to be a cheap prescription? Maybe on a doctor's salary, but not on my salary. So I kind of lost it in the pharmacy. I just like, oh my God, I cannot believe I just spent 5 days in the mental hospital putting up with all that, feeling a lot better on this drug, and then bam, to find out I can't take it. And I started panicking. I'm like, what am I going to do? I am not going back to the hospital, but I'm not medicated now. So I put an immediate call to my outside doctor. And when I say outside, I mean out of the hospital, my normal doctor that I see. And she gave me something that's in the family of that pill, but it's so much cheaper. It was only $18 for a whole month. So that was a lot better. And I started that yesterday. And it did immediately calm me down, and it's working good so far. So right now I'm doing absolutely great. Doggy, we're dog sitting again. While I was in the hospital, my mom was going to come visit me, and she needed to stop at the grocery store because her bank's in the grocery store, and she needed to get some gas money to give to our family to bring her up here to visit me. And hi, Samantha. And she passed out, fainted in the store, hit her head, woke up vomiting everywhere, and they rushed her to the emergency room. And actually, she wasn't even stable. They had to get her stabilized in the ambulance in the parking lot before they were willing to take her to the hospital. And once they got her stable and conscious and all that, they took her to the hospital, and it turns out that she has an infectious disease. She had to be quarantined, and but we didn't know this. We did not find this out actually until yesterday. So we went up and visited her the day I got out of the hospital, and we exposed ourselves because nobody knew that she had this disease. And I found out then yesterday that we were not allowed to visit. They let us know. They called us up and let us know that she's in a quarantine, and the only way we could come see her is to put on all these uniforms to go in the room. And yeah, we didn't want to mess with that because it was a pretty serious infection. So she called me today. I talked to her, and she said that she's going into a rehab facility, like an assisted living type, well, like a nursing home, but it's a temporary one. Like, she'll eventually hopefully get to go back to her own home if they think that she's safe enough to go home, because, you know, she is 65 and she lives on her own and she has a lot of health problems. But so we're dog sitting for her again while all this is going on. So we got the dogs, yay! But I probably made this video way too long, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm back from the hospital. I'm feeling so much better, and just let me know whatever else you want me to blog about, and I'll try and come up with some things on my own, and I'll make another video tomorrow, hopefully. So I got my friend coming over tonight, gonna cook some dinner, gonna go swimming, so things are going good for me. Yay! So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment. Positive, please, only, no negatives. I remember I think 2 videos ago I said I was gonna make comments. I was going to enable comments, but I have it set up to where I have to approve the comments. So don't even waste your time leaving a negative comment, because I'll just delete it and it won't ever be seen by anyone. So, but please leave me a comment, and please feel free to share this video to everyone so we can keep everyone educated on bipolar and we can stop the stigma, okay? Peace out.